Morning. Today's verses are from John chapter 20, and I'm going to read verses 24 and 25. Now Thomas, called Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. When the other disciples told him that they had seen the Lord, he declared, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe it." Thomas wasn't with the other disciples when Jesus came. I wonder why. Maybe as a bit of a pessimist, he preferred to be alone after Jesus' death. Maybe he preferred to grieve alone, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no doubt that he loved Jesus. He loved him enough to actually go and die with him if necessary. But then he missed out on seeing the risen Jesus when the other disciples saw him. And I can understand his frustration, I can understand his disappointment, and I can also understand a little bit of jealousy creeping in there too. He rejected the tale of the others due to this disappointment and this frustration, and his unbelief became obstinate. I will not believe. I can also understand the disciples' excitement. They'd just seen the risen Jesus and they were excited to tell Thomas. After all, aren't we, when something extraordinary or something exciting happens to us, aren't we just excited ourselves to then go and tell those that were closest to, those friends and family that we love, that we're closest to? Human nature default when something extraordinary happens, I think, is one of disbelief. Some people are just show me or let me see people. For example, a baby walks for the first time, but there's only one person there to see it. So there's an element of disbelief there. Just naturally there is, until further evidence is gathered. But that evidence in this instance can take quite some time to gather, and that poor baby has to perform, walk again, but this time with more than one person there to see it, just so that it's more believable and then you can start to really believe it. A question came to my mind when I was reading these two verses. Is doubt, is disbelief always a bad thing? I don't think it is always a bad thing. In fact, doubts are not unhealthy as long as they lead to questions, to discussions, and then maybe a further understanding. Sometimes I think questions need to be asked, and we're very lucky that we have the freedom to ask questions quite openly. There's no restrictions. We can ask what we want. We have access to information. We have access to other people. People in our church family are always very willing to listen, for you to ask them questions and to see if they can help in any way. We have lots of people and different opinions, which can lead to healthy discussions and help you make your mind upon things, which is a healthy thing, I think, to talk about things. It's quite often said that no question is a silly question. We're sometimes scared to ask because we think a question's a silly question and everybody else will know the answer, and that's daft. But you'll often find that quite a lot of people have been wanting the answer to that same question, but they too thought it was silly, so daren't ask it. So let's not be afraid to ask questions, I suppose, is my thing to say to you today. However silly you may think they are, questions can lead to discussion, gathering of evidence, other people's opinions, and you never know. You may get an answer which then gives you a better understanding, and then you can figure out where you stand on something and what you believe in. So I hope today that you won't be afraid to ask any question that you've been wanting to ask, maybe for a long time, that you'll reach out and ask somebody that question, have a discussion, and then see where you stand on it together. Have a good day.